Well, hello property lovers and welcome to Property Focus, the show that dives into the world of real estate, industry tips and property insights. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an extraordinary episode as we're celebrating remarkable women in the real estate space.
There's been an increase in the number of women who are taking architecture.
It's very important to have a woman's perspective in that whole space because we're nurturers, yeah?
Today,
yes,
the space has changed because if you go to UON, JQuat, and some of the other universities, you find the ladies are up to 15%.
I think it speaks to the nature of women, where we do work really well as a community and we seek community.
From architects, engineers, QSs, interior designers, all of that. Let's find out from the ladies themselves about how they've been finding it in the real estate industry. My name is Ngigi. Welcome to the show.
My name is Florence Nyole. I'm an architect and the president of the Architectural Association of Kenya. As an architect over the years, I've noticed that there's been an increase in the number of women who are taking architecture. My experience is that when I was in university, I didn't have any lady lecturer throughout my 6 years. But later on, as you'll notice, at least the University of Nairobi now has almost 40% of the staff being female, and that's a very big improvement. We also noticed that in class, we're just about 10% in terms of the numbers. But today, we are talking about 50% of the ladies in class, in architecture school, being women and being female. And so those are big improvements, showing that many ladies have decided to take up the course of architecture. When it comes to practice, we still have a long way to go, however, because many ladies then end up not really practicing architecture, so we are at 15%. I believe the number has grown from 10% back in the day, and we are hoping that as we move on, we'll be able to see the same. There are many more architects who are not only being employed, but also running their own firms, and that's a good thing. And we are beginning to see many more architectural firms that are women-led. When it comes to being the president of AEK, I've witnessed quite a lot of things. When I joined leadership back in 2013, 2015, I noticed that we were very few women, probably 2 of us in a council. And as we moved and progressed, eventually in 2017, we got the first female president of AEK, architect Milo. Then after that, we got architect Mogore Njendu. Today, serving as president, I have more than 60% of the leadership in AEK being under women, and that's a good thing. What it shows is that we are capable and we are able to rise to the occasion. We've also received a lot of support from those who came before us, and seeing them lead has enabled us to also start leading and leading in a good way. In general, we're seeing that the leadership within the construction industry is also starting to become women-led. For instance, IQSK president is a female, WIRE president is a female. Today, as we speak, we have a candidate going for the presidency of IEK, and that's a female. And so we are seeing a lot of women coming on board as leaders and coming on board to ensure that we have this gender balance within our industry. And as we move forward, we're very happy to see that there's been growth in terms of inclusion of women in the leadership within the construction industry. My name is Florence Nyole, and I'm committing to inspiring inclusion. Happy International Women's Day.
Wonderful to be back as always, and my name is Emma Miloyo.
Yes.
I'm an architect, I'm an educationist, and I was the first female president of the Architectural Association of Kenya, and celebrating women just means the world to me, and no better time than to talk about the importance of women in architecture and planning than on a week like this where we're celebrating World Women's Month and Women's Day. And women are fundamental to, we're the nurturers. And in terms of architecture, in terms of planning, that's just really the foundation of, homes and cities and how cities function is very, very important. From that perspective of, how a community is, even speaking as an educationist, it's very important to have a woman's perspective in that whole space because we're nurturers, yeah? So there's a way we will come at planning, the way we'll come at architecture and design that's just more suited to a nurturing environment. Women will ensure there's play spaces for children. Women will ensure, like a woman planner would ensure that there's spaces for the elderly, spaces for the vulnerable, because most of the time women are vulnerable in society in a sense, yeah? Where the truth is, yeah, that we're targets sometimes. So how we come at planning, how we come at architecture, from that perspective is very, very important. In terms of building and, just even the home, are also very important. The offices, just because women are also very gifted in terms of soft skills and in understanding what makes workplaces thrive, what makes communities thrive. We have an innate gift in understanding that. So what we bring to the table is just that understanding of how families work, how communities work, and how, therefore, cities would work in such a way that the most vulnerable children, elderly, women in society can thrive. And I think that's it for me. And if your women are thriving, if your children are thriving, everybody's thriving. My name is Emma Miloyo. I'm an architect and I'm committed to inclusion.
Hello, my name is Kisha N, and I want to be a leader when I grow up, and I'm committed to inclusion.
How are you doing, Rose? Good.
Hello, Peter.
Good,
How
good.
are you?
Pleasure to meet you. I like that handshake.
No, it's solid.
Yes, solid, solid.
And it is taught.
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Brilliant. Briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, yes?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. So, Rose Kamene,
yes.
Gishuki, Head of Women Banking at Family Bank, where we refer to it as Queen Banking.
All right.
Queen Banking.
Queen Banking, huh?
Queen Banking.
It is, it is.
So Queen Banking is what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
And of course, a mother, a wife, sister, an aunt, been in banking for over 30 years. So I've served both in career and served also in home front. Yes, I've been a leader in both spaces. So happy to meet you.
Brilliant.
And of course, I love God.
Wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah. Now, tell us, how important is mentorship?
Mentorship is everything. There's mentorship to me, there's mentorship in the professional space and in the personal space. It deals with the person, the individual. And the individual comes before the career. So to me, mentorship covers two areas, both professional and individual. Individual more so because you bring the person to the profession, to the office space, to the career, to the work environment. Yeah. So to me, it's very important, extremely important. And with mentorship, you will find that it helps you to develop networks.
Yes.
It is even in your career, even in your personal life. I'll deal with both interchangeably because that's how I am. Yeah. In your personal life, you will need older people who will tell you things that you haven't experienced. It's like a cheat sheet to what is coming. Like a cheat sheet to what you're bound to experience.
Yes.
It's like telling you you're doing okay, uko sawa pali uko, giving you constructive feedback of, yes, you're here, Peter, this is what you're bound to go through, and when you experience this, it is either okay or you could flip it this way so that you meet your goals and objectives in life. So mentorship is everything. So there are things that you will learn that are professional, they are put down, but there are others that people experience and they want to share their experiences. So like me and my girl group, we say we want to die empty. So we are always sharing. We are always sharing from young girls, young parents, into marriage, into spaces like the person. Menopause. I mean, nobody tells us we'll go into those spaces, but eventually we do get there. Why am I feeling hot? Why am I moody? Why am I all of a sudden things are happening to you? You need somebody in that space to tell you, uko sawa bana, uko sawa. Relax. So take it easy. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And then you're okay. So mentorship is very important. So on a career front, especially in the banking where I've sat most of my life, you need to talk to the young ones on how to, remember we're exposed to money, integrity issues, how to deal with customers, how to deal with different levels of people, because we serve everybody from an 18-year-old to a 100 and something year old. They're all using banks. How to develop their careers, what courses to take, what will make a difference, and even just challenging you, what are you thinking? Because the young generation that we have now also is full of ideas. So it gives you space to understand where they are at and then be able to help them navigate so that they can meet their goals and their dreams.
Interesting.
Both personal
and
professional. professional.
Professional.
Yes.
Amazing.
Asante.
And you love God.
And I love God mostly. And then we also tell them that you
Yes.
need that. You need God
True.
in your life. Yeah. Because
True.
without God, then you're nothing.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, God is everything. And when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
True. Thank you very much for coming on to the
You're
show.
most welcome.
Wonderful.
Karibu and keep coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Now let's transition to the next phenomenal lady. Hello, how are you doing, engineer?
Hi.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Briefly introduce yourself and tell us about what you're experiencing in the industry.
All right. My name is Engineer Grace Mboni Kagondi. I am an engineer by profession. That's my background. I call it my background now because I have gone into leadership, I've gone into management. So, but all that is leveraged on my profession as an engineer. Currently, I'm serving as the first Vice President at the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, a position I've held since 2022, and it's now coming to an end, actually. As we're speaking now, we're in election mode.
I can see
And
you've got the hat.
you can see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we hope you get it.
Thank you.
We're celebrating women in
Yes.
the industry. So how has it been as a woman in the industry, being an engineer?
Yes.
What's that been like?
Let me say it's been a privilege because this is a sector that does not have many women. And especially when I was starting out, we were a very small number. I can even say the number of people in my class. We were only 4 girls in my class, although we were joined by another 2 later, and we became 6. And that was it, in a class of 65.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And today,
Yes.
the space has changed because if you go to UON, JKUAT, and some of the other universities, you find the ladies are up to 15%. And the academy, the lecturers will tell you that these ladies are actually doing very well in the academics, which to me is a testament that, yeah, we have what it takes.
Yes.
All we need is a little focus, a little encouragement. We have what it takes. And our men, we are not leaving you, we are not saying we are leaving you behind. You are part of us. Everything is so much better when we are working together. That's the spirit. Yes.
Super. Thank you very much. Glad to have had you.
I'm Engineer Grace Mboni Kagondi. You know me. You have seen my dedication. You have seen my commitment. You know I am competent. I am competent. And for sure, I have what it takes to take IEK to the next level. Be it professional competence, be it corporate, be it collaboration, be it let's make history together.
Well, quite interesting. We're going to take a short commercial break, pay some bills. When we're back, more with more phenomenal women in the real estate space. Now, welcome back. If you're just joining in, this is Property Focus, and we're exploring the extraordinary women in the real estate space. So let's go over to the other side and get to meet some more as they tell us some wisdom and give us valuable insights. Let's go. Head interior designer in charge.
That's correct.
How are you doing?
I'm
Good.
great.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Peter. It's really good to be here.
Wonderful. Briefly introduce yourself and tell us about what you do.
Sure. My name is Reeves, and I'm the founder of Love Artisan, which is a furniture company based here in Nairobi. I'm Australian by nationality, but I would say Kenyan by heart, so I call myself a Ken Aussie. I've been living here for 12 years and working in the furniture sector for the last 8 years.
As a lady in this space, what challenges have you had? What has it been?
I've worked here on Gong Road specifically for the last 8 years and my own company for the last 6.5 years. And Love Artisan aims to be the leading manufacturer of upholstered furniture in Kenya, whilst advancing our artisan industry and also showcasing African textiles. And, you know, I've really seen firsthand over the last 8 years the difference that you can make and the impact that you can make to our youth by giving them secure full-time employment. It really does change people's trajectory of their lives.
In terms of a statistic, how many women own artisan businesses? What is it like?
So I would say that the furniture industry as a whole is still a male-dominated industry. However, in the last 6 to 8 years, there's been a group of companies I would call the artisan furniture sector, that have really blossomed, and they cater to that client that wants to support locally made furniture makers but doesn't want to compromise on quality, on professionalism and on design. And I would say Love Artisan sits in that bracket. And amongst that bracket of artisan furniture makers, surprisingly, about 70 to 80% of those businesses are all female-owned and female-led businesses. So it does really buck the trend overall industry. In addition to this, the approach that we all have in this sector is to really work collaboratively. So we really don't feel that we're in competition with each other. We feel that the health of each business contributes to the health of the whole sector, and that's what we want to see thrive. And so I think it speaks to the nature of women, where we do work really well as a community and we seek community, and we tend to perform better within communities. And I really feel that that has been what is happening and is continuing to happen in our sector. And that's a really positive and encouraging thing. And it's a really great sector to be in, and it's growing. And it's so great to be part of that growth of locally made furniture.
Super, brilliant.
Thanks.
Glad to have had you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Good.
Okay, thanks, Peter.
Yes.
My name is Sarah Reeves, and I am the founder of Love Artisan, and I'm committed to inclusion.
My name is Jennifer Musimi. I'm a content surveyor and a business lady. I'm currently the president of IQSK, that is the Institute of Quant Surveyors of Kenya. Quant surveyors are big players in the construction industry, offering financial support services for construction projects. And how that looks is we are responsible to ensuring that there's integrity in how money is managed in our construction projects, big and small. I'll tell you one thing, one of my philosophy is that doing business or being a professional is never a gender-based item. You don't come here saying, I'm a lady, I should be treated differently. So I come here wearing clothes of professionalism to do the job better. Being a lady is a sideshow, but when I need to pull that card, I do. How has it been? It's been exciting. Not an advantage, so to speak, but it means you work harder and smarter than just the rest of us. Because there are few of us, it's a very male-dominated industry. The few mistakes you make are very visible. Therefore, you're less forgiven than our counterparts, our male counterparts. Quant surveying, construction industry is a very interesting space, very versatile, and easy for anyone who is interested. So let not the many men who are in the industry scare you. We can come and make a difference, because the feel and the touch women give to even spaces, design spaces of a house, is different. You can always tell a kitchen that has been designed by a man because they are not the users. You can always tell a space, a living room even, that has been designed by a man. When a lady comes in, they come with that touch of homeliness and attention to detail. So it's a welcome industry to all of us. My name is Jennifer Musimi, the president of IQSK, and I support inclusion.
My name is Senator Dr. Architect Syvia M Kasanga. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. So I've run my architectural consultancy career for 20 years. Actually, this year I'm celebrating the 20th year of my practice, which I've practiced under SICAM Solutions Company Limited here in Nairobi. And really, we do work across the region. It's been an interesting ride, let me call it, for many reasons. First, as a woman, we entered into that space when there were very few women, so there were the challenges. But we've seen the industry evolve. And what used to be site offices and site meetings that were male-dominated with very few women, in fact, now and more we are seeing a lot more women than men on our site inspection meetings. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And architecture in itself is very fulfilling if you're in it for the right reasons. Because one, we are creatives. And we express ourselves through our work. And in that sense, you get very fulfilled. When you walk into our site, it's empty. There's nothing but grass or bushes. And in it, you envision something beautiful, a space that human beings can interact with, that they can use and fulfill their dreams and aspirations. It's beautiful to be part of such a story. Over the years, we've built brands for people, sales projects, we've seen them come and go. We've seen people grow rich through building and selling units and houses. We've seen institutions grow. And there's nothing more beautiful than having that as part of your accolades. It's been a very beautiful career. And the challenges are also very real. Being in this country that we are in, our career is dependent on the electoral cycles. So every election period, we are worried how soon the market will pick up again and we can get back to work. And I can tell you, since the double election of 2017, that was very quickly followed by COVID, a lot of architectural firms have really felt, have really taken a hit. And I know it's not just architectural firms, but since we are speaking construction, a lot of construction companies have taken a real hit. And I think for women, we become probably better at survival because we really quickly re-engineer ourselves. And you get into interior designs and you start doing other things which are part of creativity. I myself ventured into the dispute resolution space because I came to learn that, it's a space for architects as well. And because we are constantly resolving disputes on site, we forget that we are automatically dispute resolvers in our own way and away from court. So it's just a question of formalizing. And I've been doing a lot of advocacy work to try and get more architects into that space, and especially women. Women tend to be easier at mediation and negotiations and conciliations. So I'm trying to get a few more architect women to join that space, and it's beautiful. And I usually like to advocate to the younger ones actually in campus, because then they can begin to understand that their career paths can actually transcend from the construction sector into the dispute resolution space, and both can run absolutely concurrently. I am now currently doing a lot of advocacy work on the architectural space, and I'll tell you that when I served in Senate in the last parliament, I learned the importance of laws, making laws, how they affect us, and the importance of lobbying for the right things in the space that you are in. So as an architect, now I am doing a lot of lobby work for architects. We tend to be introverts, so we don't speak out, and we are watching the industry getting very affected. Yet we are the leaders of the built environment industry, and it's time we came out. So I'm busy trying to encourage my fellow architects through an association we formed called the Architects Alliance. We're saying, please wake up. It's time we learn to speak up and advocate for our space, and let's take charge of this. The industry is suffering. Actually, there was an article the other days in the newspaper that was suggesting that built environment professionals have let down Kenyans. And it's because we tend to work in bubbles. It's our nature to be introverted. But we must take charge of the space. We must take charge of the regulatory policies. We must take charge of our own capacity building and, continuous professional development so that we can become better. We have to be alive of the fact that Africa Continental Free Trade Area is coming, and the borders are going to collapse. Other professionals will come into our space, and if we are not strong enough, they will take over our jobs. And on the other side, we have to empower ourselves enough to be able to also practice away from the Kenyan borders. So there's a lot of work that architects need to do. And I'm finding quite a bit of fulfillment in doing some advocacy work, raising questions where they need to be raised, saying the difficult things that not many people can say. It's a space that I am right now really enjoying being. And I am pulling my fellow women with me because we know how this affects us. We know how this affects the children. Our children want to be architects. What kind of environment are we leaving them with? So it's a serious advocacy work, and I'm happy to be part and parcel of it. I am Syvia M Kasanga, architect, senator, arbitrator. I am for inclusion.
Wonderful. That was invaluable insight from the ladies themselves on how they're finding the property space. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the show has to come to an end. Remember, your home could be right around the corner, so make sure you watch Property Focus next week, same place, same time. Au revoir, goodbye, and happy International Women's Day. Remember, you have to be inclusive.
I am Syvia M Kasanga, architect, senator, arbitrator.
My name is Jennifer Musimi, the president of IKSK.
Florence Nyole, and I'm committing to inspiring inclusion.
I'm committed to inclusion.
And I'm committed to inclusion.
I'm committed to inclusion.
And I support inclusion.
I am for inclusion.